Hi everyone, I'm White Knight, and what can I say about film trilogies? Film trilogies are a collection of 3 films that normally tell one story. Doing a trilogy is a very tricky thing to do since there will be critics comparing the next film to the previous one. There are different patterns. The one we all want is the films getting better as they go on, like the Lord of the Rings films. However, there are cases when the film series declines as they go on, or they get better till the 3rd film messes it all up. But why am I talking about film trilogies? Well, because I'm going to talk to you about one that you may have heard of but probably forgot about. Except for the first film, the Matrix Trilogy, and let's start off with the one everyone knows about. This is a science fiction film released in 1999, directed by the Wachowski brothers. The story behind the film is that a computer hacker, Neo, aka Thomas Edison, played by Keanu Reeves, gets a message about the Matrix and is determined to find out what it means. He meets Trinity, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, and Morpheus, played by Lawrence Fishburne, who tell him that the Matrix is a computer-generated dream world designed to keep the human mind under control, while the real world is a wasteland ruled by machines, and humans are used as power source. Morpheus also believes that Neo is the one, a man prophesied to end the war between man and machine. There are so many references and themes in this film, like Descartes' evil genius idea, cyberpunk, spaghetti westerns, Hong Kong action films, hacker subcultures, and many more. The visual effects in the action scenes are brilliant. It has the famous lobby scene and the bullet time effects. The Matrix is considered to be one of the greatest science fiction films of all time, and one you have to see before you die. In 2003, a sequel known as The Matrix Reloaded was released. The story continues on the first film. Neo has mastered his powers, and he has to find the source of Zion in order to end the war. The whole story is well planned out. In order to save Zion, they must first find the Keymaker, a program who has the key to the door to the source, and then he must take out the power of the city in order to disable the protection of the door's location. Spoiler warning. It turns out the door didn't lead straight to the source, but the program that made the Matrix, the architect. He tells Neo the truth in a rather complicated way.
Many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Ergo, concordantly, vis-a-vis, you know what? I have no idea what the hell I'm saying. I just thought it would make me sound cool.
Once you figure out what's going on, it turns out that there were 3 versions of the Matrix. The first was Utopia, but the people rejected it. The second had cause and effect, but that also failed. The third one allowed people to think freely and reject if they wanted to. Only 1% rejected the Matrix and settled in Zion. Every 100 years, the machines would destroy Zion, while the one would reboot the Matrix, since computers need updates, and eject a small number of people to rebuild Zion and then repopulate. This cycle has happened about 5 times, and Neo is the 6th one. The prophecy is simply a system of control for the humans to help the machines reload the Matrix. A lot of people really don't like this film, but in my personal opinion, I think Reloaded is better than the first one. Oh, come on! Alright, let's compare. In the first film, the talking was mostly in the first act, while the action was in the second. Reloaded was better paced since it had a balance of action and talking. The action scenes are a lot better, some of the best I've ever seen. They are creative and exciting, like Neo fighting 100 Smiths, Neo fighting henchmen in a chateau with weapons on the wall, and Morpheus and Trinity escaping the Ancients and the Phantom Twins in a freeway. The fight scenes are exciting, and the music used for them is perfect. Not only enjoying the action, but the music as well. The shooting scene in the lobby is awesome, but if I had a choice, I would choose the chateau fight over it. Just my opinion. And to be honest, I found the twist interesting once I figured out what it was all about. And the Oracle says one of the best lines I've ever heard.
What do all men with power want? More power.
It's so true. 6 months after Reloaded was released, The Matrix Revolutions came to the big screen. I was really excited over this one because both Reloaded and Revolutions were made around the same time. I absolutely loved the second film and hopefully the third one was going to be just like it. Sadly, I was disappointed by it. Now I could give a brief review like all my other ones, but I've decided to do a longer review of it. This is The Matrix Revolutions. In the end of the second film, the Nebuchadnezzar was destroyed, Neo became unconscious after stopping machines, and they were picked up by another ship. And their story is that they and a group of other ships were to assemble for a counterattack until one of its ships set off its EMP early. Meanwhile, Neo is in
space between between spaces.
Close enough. A place between the Matrix and the real world where only the train man can get them out. So Morpheus and Trinity go to see the Oracle. A minute, that's not Gloria Foster. Where is she? Actually, Gloria died of diabetes after filming the second film, and Mary Alice takes her place. She tells them about Neo, and they go out to find the train man, who escapes. He then heads to Limbo and prevents Neo from escaping.
I need to get back.
So let me get this straight. He can beat an army, 3 agents, highly trained henchmen, and take on 100 Smiths, and he gets his ass handed to him by a hobo. How come?
Down here. I'm God.
Whatever. So Morpheus and Trinity find the Merovingian in a gothic fetish nightclub? No comment. But to do that, they have to have a gunfight in a room with pillars. Sound familiar? Now to be fair, this is a pretty cool action scene. The action is decent, and the music has a nice techno beat to it. After making a deal with the Merovingian, they succeed in freeing Neo. He goes to the Oracle, who tells him about Smith and that famous line.
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
They leave the Matrix and don't return to it for about an hour and 30 minutes. This is the main problem with the film. Most of it is spent in the real world. The bits we all talked about in the first film, the main characters wearing long duster coats, dodging bullets, beating up bad guys, and action scenes that defy gravity. Did someone break the laws of physics? The point is that the Matrix was different and awesome, while the real world is dark, depressing, and its best action scenes is just shooting and fistfights. It's a case of been there, done that. Anyway, back to the film. The crew finds another ship, and you may recognize this crew from the video game Enter the Matrix. Meanwhile, Bane wakes up. Not that Bane! Matrix Reloaded, he was a guy who was taken over by Smith in the Matrix and messes up his mind. He was the one who set off the EMP, but lies by saying he had nothing to do with it. Because that's the way to do it. Do something horrible, say you didn't do it, and you'll get off scot-free. Neo realizes that he has to take one of the 2 ships to head to the Machine City and end the war, and Trinity decides to go with him. In Zion, the humans prepare for the machine attack. The next 30 minutes of the film is just mediocre shooting scenes in Zion and the ships being pursued by Sentinels. However, there's one thing I'd like to point out, which is the stupidity of the machine army. In the second film, they state that an army of 250,000 machines will attack the city. That makes sense because that's what they need to get the job done.
A sentinel for every man, woman, and child in Zion.
That sounds exactly like the thinking of a machine to me.
But check out this scene. Why did they miss the turrets? They destroy them eventually, but they lose a couple of sentinels. I thought machines would be quick to eliminate the fences when destroying the city.
I find it amusing. All machines are just wires, nuts, and bolts. They're stupid by nature.
Even when the last human gunner is left, they just fly around in huge numbers while he guns them down, doing his best Rambo impression. When Kid is given orders to open the gate, the machines don't do anything. Well, they send only one, but he gets a shocking surprise. Send another one. 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 The ship crashes in, sets off the EMP, and the army is disabled. I guess they were all Windows Vista.
What do all men with power want? More power.